Coming up, a deadly shooting at a Georgia high school, what we are learning from police tonight.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A community 45 miles northeast of Atlanta is in mourning tonight following a school shooting that left 2 students and 2 teachers dead and at least 9 others wounded. The suspected shooter is a 14-year-old student. Law enforcement officials have him in custody and expect he will be charged with murder. CBS's Dave Malkoff is in the city of Winder, Georgia, with the latest.
Teenagers held hands and prayed Wednesday night as the community of Winder, Georgia, gathered for a prayer vigil. Earlier in the day, police say a 14-year-old student opened fire at nearby Appalachia High School.
It's just disgusting that this would happen in our community.
Emergency vehicles rushed to the school as shots rang out at 10:23 a.m. The school went into lockdown, and some students thought this was a drill until they heard those gunshots.
He started shooting like 10 times. He shot at least 10 times. Saw one of my classmates on the ground bleeding so bad.
So in case you're wondering, it's not a drill.
Teenagers and students barricaded themselves inside classrooms until police say the suspect surrendered to school resource officers.
And I started getting scared, and everybody in the class praying, crying, hoping nothing doesn't happen.
Hurry up now, come on, let's go.
Class by class, police guided roughly 1,900 students to the football field to reunite with their parents. But law enforcement had closed roads around the school, and panicked parents say they abandoned their cars and ran miles to reach their kids. Josh Rayner hopped on his motorcycle.
I blew red lights. I blew through stop signs. I drove on the opposite side of the road. I would do anything in the world to get to my son when he needs help.
Law enforcement officers expect the suspect, Colt Gray, will be charged with murder as an adult. Late Wednesday, the FBI announced after receiving anonymous tips connected to a school shooting threat last year, they questioned the suspect and his father, but saw no reason to take further action.
That could be connected to today's incident as well.
The sheriff says the suspect is cooperating, yet this is the deadliest case of school violence in Georgia history. In Winder, Georgia, Dave Malkoff, CBS News.
Appalachia High School will be closed for the rest of the week. President Biden issued a statement after the shooting saying in part, "We cannot continue to accept this as normal." Governor Andy Beshear shared his prayers with the families in Georgia. On social media, the governor said, quote, "The news out of Georgia is devastating as another senseless act of violence has taken more lives and will leave others with lifelong trauma. My heart breaks for those students, and we pray for all those affected. We must do better," end quote.
Well, we had another gorgeous day across the area, albeit a little cloudy, but still temperatures were in the upper 70s and low 80s. Made it to 81 in Hazard. Jackson made it to 82. 82 is where we should be for this time of year anyway. 80 was the high in Manchester, 80 in London, 77 Williamsburg. Louisville made it to 90. 77 was the high in Logan, 68 in Grundy. And right now, Louisville's still at 80, while everybody else is seeing temperatures in the 60s and 70s. 74 Lexington, 10 cooler in Irvin, 70 in Somerset, 61 is the current temperature in Hazard, 66 in Jackson. Live pinpoint Doppler radar, all is quiet across the area this evening, and we'll stay quiet as we go throughout the day on Thursday. The big story tonight is going to be that cloud cover. You notice the cloud cover starting to kind of dwindle down as we go throughout the evening and overnight hours. That will be the trend as we go throughout the next several hours, leaving us with plenty of sunshine for the day on Thursday. We'll go to 59 by the 6 o'clock hour, 77 by noon. And when you wake up in the morning, we'll see temperatures in the 50s and 60s. I'll have the complete first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. Somerset Mayor Alan Keck is asking state leaders to reinstall regulations in the addiction recovery system. Keck sent a letter to state leaders asking for increased guardrails preventing fraud and abuse. Keck says Medicaid is the main provider, and with lifted regulations, the system has become a free-for-all.
So that's why we've seen the explosion of these facilities all across Kentucky. And, you know, we've become a recovery hub. And I think there's some that maybe take pride in that. But what I want is I want to treat the people that live here, that work here, you know, our friends and family.
Keck says he looks for pre-authorization to be reestablished. He says that was lifted during the COVID-19 pandemic. Attorney General Russell Coleman is giving some guidance to prosecutors and law enforcement on illegal gray gambling machines. The Attorney General cited the General Assembly's 2023 ban on such devices, a ban that was tested and upheld in court in June. He emphasizes law enforcement is authorized to investigate and prosecute any violations of Kentucky's gambling laws. Shaping Our Appalachian Region, or SOAR, will host its 10th SOAR Summit starting October 16th in Pikeville. Executive Director Colby Hall says this year they are introducing new things while maintaining the things that matter. He says they'll be adding an app to help people get more out of the summit.
It's a big swath of territory, a lot of different communities and counties and cities in Eastern Kentucky. And this is really the one event out of the year that focuses on bringing everybody under one roof.
To register for the summit, you can head to this story on our website. VFW Post 5839 in Prestonsburg brought in partners today to help veterans in need. The Post hosted its Veterans Stand Down event, working with area programs and the Herschel Woody Williams VA Medical Center to provide access to health care, housing, medical screenings, and more. Those involved say the event highlights suicide prevention, housing access, and more.
So it's very important for us to be in our community and connect with veterans, and also to get the organizations that serve veterans to get all of us together.
The event also included free food and door prizes celebrating the veterans as they received needed resources. Former President Donald Trump says it's a sick and angry world, but he's going to heal it. He appeared in a Fox News town hall meeting tonight. Meanwhile, Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris rolled out her small business plans in New Hampshire. CBS's Skylar Henry has the latest on campaign 2024.
Vice President Kamala Harris chose tax-friendly New Hampshire to roll out her plans to help small businesses.
It's essentially a tax cut for starting a small business.
The Democratic presidential nominee is proposing expanding tax deductions for new startup expenses from the current $5,000 up to $50,000. There's no price tag on this plan, and it would need congressional approval.
I want to see 25 million new small business applications by the end of my first term.
Recent polling shows Harris trails GOP rival Donald Trump among voters who say the economy is a major factor in their vote. The former president has an economic address planned for Thursday. Tonight, he sat down with Fox News for a town hall event.
We have an election coming up, and actually, you know, they keep saying 60, but it starts in Delaware and North Carolina and other places a lot sooner than that. So we're going to be, I think we're going to be very well set up to do a great job. And do we love Pennsylvania? Do we love it?
Here in Washington, the Biden administration is accusing Russia of election interference with two schemes U.S. officials say were designed to achieve the Kremlin's, quote, preferred outcome this November. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced criminal charges and sanctions and seized internet domains. The move comes with just about 2 months to go until Election Day and less than a week before the two candidates face off in their first debate. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney says she is voting for Vice President Kamala Harris. She says despite her conservative views, she believes former President Trump is dangerous for the U.S. Cheney served in the third highest position in the House Republican leadership from 2019 to 2021. Her father, Dick Cheney, served as vice president under George W. Bush. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, a closer look at Donald Trump's relationship with evangelical Christians.
And in the world of weather, we're seeing temperatures right now in the 50s and 60s. Now, patchy fog is not out of the question tomorrow. We'll time that out in a few minutes. Stay with us.